I'm starting to realize that we as a profession have a lot of things that we need to advocate for. We have been around for a while, but we are facing some significant challenges. So, along those lines, today I am going to interview Kris Pyles-Sweet. She is president of PAs for Tomorrow, and she has been and still is involved with many different advocacy groups for the PA profession. Welcome, Kris. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Michelle, for having me.
As somebody who's been plugged in for a while, tell us why you think it's so important for people to actually pay attention to this and to be advocates for the profession.
Nobody's going to look out for you better than you. And that's the way I look at it for PAs. If we don't advocate for ourselves, nobody else is going to do it for us. We used to think the physicians were going to, but they're not. In fact, they're
Right.
doing the opposite at this point. Nobody understands or pays attention until something happens to them. Then they realize that, oh, I've got a law? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
When I was new in practice, I had a physician die over the weekend. I had a waiting room full of people. And the minute we found out that he had perished, I was told to stop seeing patients, period. And it was patients
Wow.
revolted. They couldn't understand, but I
Right.
didn't have a physician on things like that.
Yeah.
I realized, oh crap,
Yeah.
I need to do something about this.
One of the things that I started noticing is that tends to be a preference to hire NPs over PAs because in the states where they have full practice authority, there's just less encumbrance and it's less that the healthcare system has to work with and pay physicians to supervise. So that's kind of where I started realizing that there are some issues that do affect me, and I'm sure there's a lot more. So what are some of the things that PAs for Tomorrow has been working on? What are some of the big issues that they have helped push through, and what are the things that the organization is looking at now and in the future?
It's funny that you bring up the almost independent practice that a lot of nurse practitioners enjoy, and they got there by advocating their position for that. PAs for Tomorrow actually started due to title change, but we kind of shifted our focus to full practice responsibility. And eventually that was passed in the House. The HOD was sent to the AAPA and they finagled it, and now they call it OTP, Optimal Team Practice. But that was started and pushed by PAs for Tomorrow. They
Okay.
still have a lot of they call them pillars. They still have a lot of the points that we wanted in the in PAFT, PAs for Tomorrow. Anything at this point is better than nothing.
I've realized too that the nurse practitioners, it's in the nursing culture, isn't it?
They're
From when they
taught from the
first.
minute they go to school
Right.
till that's their job, is to advocate for the patient and themselves.
It's also been part of their culture in that advocacy to give to their profession, right?
Correct. And if we had the money that the nurses have, we probably would be independent right now, but we don't.
We definitely could learn something from their playbook. And I think that you're right. It's been probably a lot of that feeling of security that we are under the wing of the physicians, and so our role is safe. We're an established profession. Why do we need to advocate so much? But I think in especially in the last several years, have been shown that that's a little false sense of security, right?
Correct. For years, that's what we said. Oh, the physicians will take care of us. No,
Yeah.
it's not happening.
Not to say that there aren't physicians who really respect, PAs and NPs, and who work with us well and afford us, respect and stick up for us in certain situations. I think that does happen. I don't want to say all physicians, don't like us, but I think a lot of us now are seeing, you read rebuttal comments on articles about PAs or NPs, name change or going for OTP or full practice authority, and there's a lot of venom and hatred out there, coming our way. And I was told by somebody who was on a medical board in a state representing PAs, and they were like, there's no support or representation coming from the physicians, at least on that, medical board that she was in. So if she wasn't there to fight for us, there wasn't anybody else looking out for our position.
Right.
Besides the OTP, what other things, like the name change, was PAs for Tomorrow in on that, or starting that?
Correct. Again, that's why PAs for Tomorrow was created. A majority of the profession had voted for title change, but nothing was done with it with the AAPA. So PAs for Tomorrow were formed by disgruntled, if you will, PAs saying, wait a minute, we should be heard.
So the name change has been voted on, and the AAPA, right, has approved the title of physician associate. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now it has to be adopted in every state, right? It's at the state
Correct.
legislation.
The AAPA has done everything. They changed the articles of incorporation. Now it's up to each individual state.
And so PAs who want to make sure that this happens, do they need to be advocating in their state somehow to get that pushed through, or working with their state organizations to get it pushed through in every state?
So you don't, as a PA on the street, not involved, you don't want to go against what the state's doing, because the states usually have connections with certain people in legislature. You can call your congressperson to support something, but you always want to go through your state organization.
Okay.
You don't want to go against them. Best thing you can do is join your state organization.
Right.
And if they have a PAC, a political action committee, give and give generously. Yeah. Because that's where all the things change. We have to talk, we have to finesse, but it still takes money. It takes money, right? Because unfortunately, whether we like or not, money talks.
Are there other topics or areas of concern that PAs for Tomorrow is working on right now?
For the past couple of years, we talked about the NCCPA and its high staked test. So many PAs don't understand where the NCCPA actually falls within the profession and what they do. They don't advocate for us. In fact, they take our own money and advocate against us by making sure that we're certified. This is talks that we have had several times. In fact, we tried to get Don Rios Morton and the president of the board, I believe is the president of the board of the NCCPA, to talk with us, PAs for Tomorrow, and they refused. They refused. But that's after years and years and years. At least we got them on the phone that time.
So PAs for Tomorrow, do they feel like we don't need certification at all? Or are they just not wanting it to come from NCCPA? Or is it that they don't feel like it should be such a high stakes certification?
If you're around long enough, you're going to find somebody who does not pass the recertification. It used to be every 6 years. Now it's every 10 years. Some people don't pass. They may be in a specialty, or they may have terrible test anxiety. We just want to see the high stakes portion of the test, pass or fail, and you're out. We want to see that go away, or give us some feedback, give us evidence, give us the research. We're all scientifically based. Give us the research that proves that a high risk stakes tests make you, a PA, any PA, a better provider. In fact, the ones that have come out say that it doesn't. We're the only profession that has to do this and pay big money or lose our job. Physicians, nurse practitioners, they don't have to take a test to stay practicing. We do, though.
Yeah, so the physicians, like, if they want to be board certified in a particular specialty or area, then they have a test that they have to take. Do they have to recertify that test, or is it like a one-time test and then you're certified for?
I'm not really sure, because I hear a couple different things. The maintenance of certification, which is what you see MOC, is different. And they do sometimes have to take a test. Again, it's not a high stakes test.
And that's what it comes down to, whether somebody can continue to practice medicine or not, based on a test, like you said, is very much family practice oriented. And if you've been working in, dermatology or orthopedics for 20 years, you may be a phenomenal provider and know that
Correct.
specialty in and out. But if you don't spend a long time and a lot of money to study and, have the time to devote to that, you could potentially not be able to practice if you don't pass that
Well,
test.
not only that, but you're spending time away from your patients, you're spending time away from your family.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Obviously, no one's saying that we shouldn't have to meet continuing education and all of those,
Correct.
things that we have to do, which we as a profession have a significant amount compared to the other professions.
Exactly, yes.
Right. That was something I didn't realize either, because we have to have more than the physicians, right? Or is it about the same?
No, we have to have more.
More, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, we already are held to a standard, and we've passed the test that we, had the base knowledge to be able to practice, to become PAs in the first place. So a lot of people question that, like, why do we have to pay so much and put our careers on the line to take a
Yes.
test when other providers don't have that same stipulation? Is PAs for Tomorrow an organization that people can join? How do they join? Are there dues associated with that organization as well?
There are dues. It's $75 a year, cheapest for advocacy I've ever heard. Students are $18 for 2 years, and pre-PAs are $10 for 2 years. PAFT.us or pasfortomorrow.org can
Okay, and I'll
find
put
how to
that
join.
website down below in the description
Okay.
box that people can get to that. Any final words that you want to say about advocacy or to plead the case of why PA should be involved?
My capstone when I was doing my doctorate of medical science was on advocacy. I was shocked at how many people said no, they don't belong to their state organization, they don't belong to the national organization. And some of them even said, "What's a PAC?" That is part of a failure on the PAEA, to be honest. Advocacy should be taught in schools like it is with the nurses. Advocacy works, just do it.
Well, thank you so much, Kris, for telling us a little bit about how this works and helping people to see the importance of why we need to advocate for our profession. So we continue to exist, but not only exist, but flourish and move in the directions that we want to move into. So thanks
Yes.
again.
Thank you.
If you want to learn more about the cool things that PAs and NPs are doing out in the world, watch these videos here. And I will see you next time on the Medicine Couch.